This is the haunting true story of a Dutch man who was out camping and ripped out of his tent by a polar bear. Hit that like button and subscribe right now. This is the story of Johan Jacobus Kootte ripped apart by a polar bear. Welcome to Exclusion. In the heart of the Arctic, on the remote Norwegian island of Svalbard, a tale of courage and tragedy unfolded, highlighting the delicate dance between humans and the wild. This desolate place, some 800 miles from the North Pole, was a harsh and unforgiving land, where the balance between survival and peril was as precarious as a tightrope walker on an icy precipice. Johan Jacobus Kootte, a 38-year-old Dutchman, had embarked on a journey to this frigid wilderness as a seasonal worker, seeking adventure and a respite from the mundanity of everyday life. Little did he know that his decision to explore this otherworldly terrain would lead to a confrontation with nature at its most savage. Longyearbyen, the town that clung to the edge of this inhospitable wilderness, was where Johan's ill-fated journey began. It was a place where the sun never set during the summer months and refused to rise for most of the winter. The northern lights danced across the dark sky, casting an enchanting spell upon those brave enough to call this place home, if only temporarily. But on that fateful night, Johan's dreams were shattered by a haunting growl, an eerie reminder that this enchanting wilderness was far from benign. It was a polar bear, the great and fearsome predator of the Arctic, driven by an insatiable hunger that led it to encroach on human territory. Johan's tent, a flimsy sanctuary against the relentless Arctic cold, offered no protection against the bear's might. As the tent trembled and the canvas walls quivered, Johan was abruptly awakened from his slumber and pulled into the dark abyss of the Arctic night. Panic gripped him as he found himself face to face with the formidable beast, a creature whose power he could barely comprehend. Polar bears, the Arctic giants, reign as the world's largest land carnivores, with adult males tipping the scales at a hefty 900 to 1,600 pounds, 400 to 725 kilograms, rendering them formidable apex predators in their icy domain. These massive creatures boast fur that appears white but is deceptively transparent and packed with air pockets, equipping them with a unique adaptation to blend seamlessly with the snowy landscape while providing essential insulation against the extreme cold. Their strength extends to the water, where they prove their mettle as strong swimmers, capable of covering remarkable distances, even up to 60 miles, 96 kilometers, during extended hunts for their primary prey, seals. However, the polar bear's reliance on ice as a platform for hunting seals becomes a poignant vulnerability in the face of climate change, as diminishing ice caps challenge their access to sustenance. Unlike their bear counterparts, polar bears forego hibernation, remaining active year-round, braving the harshest Arctic winters in their quest for food, propelled by their remarkably acute sense of smell, allowing them to detect seals from miles away. Despite their inherent strength, polar bears face a precarious future, as they are listed as a vulnerable species due to the loss of their sea ice habitat, primarily caused by climate change, which disrupts their access to seals, their primary food source. Among their captivating behaviors, female polar bears stand out for their extraordinary maternal care, giving birth to 1 to 3 cubs and raising them for approximately 2.5 years, imparting essential survival skills to their young. These majestic creatures bear distinctive fur patterns that serve as individual signatures, a boon for researchers and scientists who use these patterns to track and study polar bear populations. While polar bears have roamed the Arctic for about 150,000 years, their adaptation to this unforgiving environment has made them a unique and specialized species, symbolizing the delicate balance between survival and the ever-changing world they inhabit. The harrowing screams that emanated from Johan's tent were a desperate plea for help, but they were soon swallowed by the merciless jaws of the polar bear. It was a brutal and unrelenting attack, an act of nature at its most savage. Johan's life hung by a thread, and as the bear left him to the mercy of the frigid wilderness, he lay broken and dying, surrounded by the vast, desolate landscape. When the morning light pierced the Arctic darkness, the campsite was transformed into a scene of unspeakable horror, a chilling testimony to the tragedy that had unfolded. 6 other campers, untouched by the bear's wrath, had been witnesses to this gruesome encounter. They had come to realize, in the most terrifying manner, the sheer power and cruelty of nature, an experience that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. News of the attack spread like wildfire through the tight-knit community of Longyearbyen, shattering the serenity that had defined this remote outpost. Shock and grief engulfed the hearts of the residents, who were now confronted with the harsh reality that life in the Arctic could be both awe-inspiring and perilous. They mourned the loss of a fellow adventurer, a man who had come seeking an experience of a lifetime but had met a tragic end. Johan's friends, fellow seasonal workers on the island, released a statement, their words heavy with grief but filled with gratitude for the support they had received from the townspeople and the local authorities during this heart-wrenching time. In the aftermath, images emerged of Johan's crumpled tent, a haunting reminder of the savage encounter that had taken place within its flimsy walls. The bear, the perpetrator of this gruesome act, was found lifeless in a nearby car park, its reign of terror cut short by the swift and resolute actions of the local residents who had to protect their community. This tragedy was not the first of its kind in the region, but it underscored the unforgiving nature of life on Svalbard. The polar bears, majestic and fearsome creatures, had been pushed to the brink by a shrinking ice cap, which had robbed them of their natural hunting grounds, with their primary prey, the seals, dwindling in numbers due to the changing Arctic environment. The bears had little choice but to encroach on human territory in search of sustenance. Svalbard, also known as Spitsberg, was home to approximately 1,000 polar bears, a protected species since 1973. Until now, 5 deadly attacks on humans had been recorded since 1971, with the most recent in 2011 when a bear attacked a group of British students on a school trip. 1 young life was lost, and several others were scarred for life before the animal was subdued. The residents of this harsh Arctic wilderness were well aware of the ever-present danger, and they were advised to carry weapons when venturing outside urban areas. It was a stark reminder that in this desolate wilderness, man and beast were entangled in a delicate dance of survival, and there were no guarantees for those who ventured into the realm of the Arctic's most formidable predator. The story of Johan Jacobus Kootte served as a haunting testament to the fragility of life in the Arctic wilderness, where the line between survival and tragedy was as thin as the ice beneath their feet. It was a stark reminder of the profound and complex relationship between humans and the natural world, and the profound impact that a relentless, changing environment can have on the creatures who inhabit it. Thank you for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe for everything exclusion.